Hello, my name is Sarah Kurpiel, and I am the author and illustrator of Lone Wolf. I wanted to take a moment to thank SCBWI Illinois for hosting these virtual launch parties. What a great idea, and so very much appreciated. Thank you. Lone Wolf is about a Siberian husky named Maple. She's playful and sneaky. She loves her family, and she loves going on long walks. But when she's out on some of these walks around the neighborhood, strangers keep on comparing her to a wolf, or even mistaking her for a wolf. So eventually, Maple starts wondering if maybe they're right. Maybe she is a wolf, and she starts questioning where she really belongs. So on the surface, Lone Wolf is a cute dog picture book, and I'm a big fan of dog picture books. But a little deeper, it's a story about identity, family, and belonging. When I was a kid, my family had a Siberian husky. Her name was Michaela. She never really liked having her picture taken, so she always looks a little suspicious of the camera. Michaela had so much personality. She was goofy and stubborn, and she did a lot of the things that we see Maple do in Lone Wolf. I remember as kids, I don't think my brothers and I had a single toy that didn't have at least a few bite marks in it. Even our Nintendo 64 controllers were a little bit chewed up, but we still use them, of course. I remember also drawing Michaela quite a bit over the years. I was going through my old things a few months ago and found what I believe is the first drawing I ever made of her when I was a kid. Many years after that, I sketched a few comic strips about Michaela, and one of those comic strips became the premise of this book. I had already drawn quite a few huskies in my style before I started thinking about the book, so I had the character design for Maple fairly ready to go, although the shape of her face became more defined later down the road thanks to editorial feedback. When I first started mapping out Lone Wolf, I started with a few key illustrations that I felt strongly about, and then build a story around those images. That's not to say that the story didn't change. It did, quite a bit, and that's thanks to feedback from my agents and then from the editor. But generally speaking, I tend to think about key images that I can't imagine not being in the book, and use those key images as I build the overall concept. And then I break down what will happen on each page, and then finally write the text, which may be a little bit backwards. I can say from this experience that character design and page layout are my favorite parts. Readers of Lone Wolf will notice that one of the characters in the story uses a power wheelchair. I also use a power wheelchair. When I was 11, I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, and when I was 18, I transitioned to a power wheelchair. Representation of kids with disabilities in picture books is important to me, and although this character isn't the focus of the story, her presence is intentional. If we're including things like the jacket, the cover, the end papers, then there are 167 dogs in this book. Yes, I actually counted. I've always loved to draw. It's always been very relaxing for me. Over the years, I learned from playing around myself and from books that I checked out from my public library. In college, I studied English and French. I went on to library school, got my MLS, and became a librarian. all through this time, I was doodling just for fun and to relax. There were a few aha moments in college and in my early library jobs that kept pointing me toward visual narratives and picture books in particular, but it always seemed out of reach. Then in 2016, I started drawing digitally in Photoshop, and it felt right almost immediately. So I started posting my doodles on Instagram under a pseudonym. And about a year later, I started drawing more animals, which really helped me develop my current style. I also started reading a lot of picture books, revisiting ones that I love by authors and illustrators that I admire, and also researching how to make a dummy and how to query. But still, it all felt very out of reach. And then in 2018, by a stroke of luck, an illustration account on Instagram shared one of my drawings. And that is what led me to my agents, who helped me get submission ready and who ultimately connected me with a very nice editor at Green Willow. So I feel like my journey has been both long and short. I'm working on my next picture book about another popular pet, cats. So as you can tell, I'm covering all my bases: dog people, dog and cat people. I mean, who else is there? If you're interested in learning more about Lone Wolf, you can visit sarahkurpiel.com/lone-wolf. There you'll find information about the book, links to reviews, free printable activity sheets, the book trailer, the animated GIFs that I use throughout this video, and links to my Instagram and Twitter accounts. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you again to SCBWI for hosting this virtual launch.